Let's start with, I'm a rental entrepreneur and I sign up to the new Twice Commerce 2.0. What happens then and how is it going to help me run my business?
So after you sign up, you have a few things that are already up and running out of the box. You have an online store. That's probably one of the sales channels you would like to use. That online store is capable of selling both bookings and sales items. You have an empty online store, empty inventory, you have 0 orders, you have a catalog with 0 listings, and you have 0 customer records at that point. So the question really is that what do you want to start from? Usually the easiest one is to, well, let's add some inventory in that we can start productizing and make accessible in the online store. So you would likely go to your inventory, where you can either upload your inventory via CSV, you can manually create those items, or you can even just snap a picture of the item that you want to add, and our AI will do some heavy lifting by identifying it and creating an inventory record for your usage. After you've added your items in, they're not automatically yet visible in your online store, so you have to create a listing to make those items available for your end customers. So the next step would probably be that you go and create a listing. You define the pricing for that listing. You say what you need from your inventory. So the fulfillment rules, which are very dynamic. You can say that I need this SKU or this specific item code, or I need anything with the make and model of Canyon and that specific model. So you don't have to utilize things like SKUs if you don't want in the first place. After you've done that and you publish that listing, you essentially have up and running online store from which an end customer can go and check out a booking or buy a resale listing, and you get an order to your admin. You can easily fulfill that, and that customer record is stored in Twice, and you have your first sale, first customer record, and usage for your inventory. So I think that's the kind of experience that I would imagine most first-timers would go through. And then it's just a question of figuring out, are you importing more data in order to expand, or are you kind of building your store one by one as you accumulate more inventory and so on.
Okay. And if you happen to already have some existing inventory, so you might have used some other rental software or even operating system, are you able to import that and utilize the existing data if there is, for example, usage hours or usage times or anything like that?
Yes, you can. So we have a inventory import functionality where you can bring in a CSV. That CSV can be pretty much free form. So it can eat in anything likely that you can export from another system. And the job that you have to do in that importing is telling the system that each of these columns, what type of a column is it? Is it a number? Is it a date? Is it a string, or what is it? And whether you want to bring it in the first place or not. And then we have a few unique system-specific columns that you might say that, okay, this is the unique code that the item has that I hope to use, I don't know, via barcode reader and so on. Now, after you've defined that, the import is relatively quick. And then you have a full-blown inventory with your old existing data that you can use and reference when building your store further and operating on top of it.
Okay. And let's say that now you've been running the business for a couple months, so you have maybe gathered a lot of orders in. There is maybe some stuff that has been already broken or missing, or you have to do some maintenance on some of the items. So how does all of this like daily operation live inside Twice?
So it really is a question that, well, what happened? Kind of where you start. So if you have a stock item that returned from a rental, or maybe it was a product returned in a broken condition, you essentially find that record from your inventory. You can make a reservation for it if it's a maintenance reservation, for example. So internally booking it out of your availability, or you can say that it's now in maintenance from this point to end of time until I figure out what to do with it. But there's always a place where you can go and say that, okay, I'm going to record a note for it, I'm going to take it out of availability, or I will attach a cost to it or similar. If, let's say, the happy case is that you run your business for 2 months and you just want to grow it, you can either add more inventory if that's the limiting factor, or you can create more listings that still reference the same inventory, but you just kind of you're kind of trying to productize it better or in a more flexible way to figure out, is there a sale that I can do on the weekends with a higher price, for example, and that way growing your business. Or you can very easily start adding new locations if you're already at that point that the next step in your business would be actually to open up a new location and growing that way. Maybe finally I want to mention there is a CRM built into Twice. So maybe you want to check your customer base and see in these 2 months, which are the customers that have bought the most, or are there customers that I haven't returned in a while? Maybe I want to reach out to them, send an email promoting a weekend special or similar. So you can take a more of a customer relationship driven way of growing your business. So there's many ways on how you can kind of spend your time improving your business and growing faster with Twice.
Maybe a couple words more about the pricing. I think that's something that new and existing rental companies are probably really interested. You mentioned that you are able to, for example, create higher price for the weekend or maybe some season. So that's, I assume, something that's possible with the new Twice Commerce.
Yeah, so there's very sophisticated ways on how you can go about pricing. So on a high level, you can define seasonal prices, or let's be more precise, you can define price tables that apply per specific season. So you might have pricing for summer, for winter. Then on a more of a pricing option level, you can define purchase prices, so how much to actually buy the asset from you. And you can define booking prices, how much it costs to book the item from you. Inside booking prices, you can define 2 kinds of prices. You can do fixed package pricing. So you have a fixed duration like 2 days or 3 days or 2 hours or 2 weeks, and you define a price for that. Or you can have rate-based pricing by saying that, all right, 1 day costs $50, any additional day costs $30. That is used in a way that your customers can then define, hey, when do they want to pick it up and when are they looking to return it, and the system automatically calculates the price for that duration based on that rate-based price rules that you did. Now you can go even deeper than that if you want, which are the advanced pricing rules that you can define, which are things like I have a fixed package price for 3 days, but it's only purchasable on Fridays. So that would be an example for a weekend price. So then again, Twice makes sure in all of the storefronts, whether it's online or in admin, that pricing option is only purchasable if the start date is on Fridays. Same way, if you do dynamic pricing for rate-based pricing, you can price, for example, weekend days with a higher rate than the weekdays. So you can go into very granular levels if needed. It really depends on your business model and how complex pricing your customers are willing to and capable of understanding. And with those rules, you can probably find those easy extra sales that customers are willing to pay. I think weekend pricing is a good example of that.
Sounds like a lot of powerful features and most likely very important for the rental businesses when they are actually looking to grow their revenues, because most likely, let's say during weekends, on a ski resort, there just are more people who are more likely willing to pay a little bit more compared to Monday afternoon during the work week. Sounds really good. And maybe the final step that we can go through is maybe end of the season or end of a year, and you just kind of want to look what's been going on, like what data or at what level data do actually Twice Commerce provide to you to understand your business and maybe do some decisions for the next year. So how much do you want to get new inventory and what type of pricing works and so on.
So in the new system, if you want to understand how might I improve my operation with maybe by looking into the past and seeing what has happened in the past that would teach me what might I do differently going forward. So each of these assets that we had can be one of the sources of that. You might look into your inventory. You might filter that category of products that you're specifically interested in now improving next season. Let's take, for example, bikes. You're looking into your bike inventory and you're just looking at the basics, like how profitable they have been, how many orders they've accumulated on average. So you can view this inside Twice, or you can just export it into an Excel and do your analysis in another software if you have a BI tool in place that is helpful. And you can try to understand which part of my inventory was the kind of most revenue driving, and maybe I want to invest into that and buy buying more of that type of inventory for next season. Similar things you can do with your customer records. You can look into your customer records, see what kind of customers were the most profitable ones, who purchased the most, what was the average purchase size for those customers. Again, some of this information you can see easily already immediately in Twice. Some you might want to export out and then again use a third-party platform to do deeper analysis if you want that. And then same for listings. Which one of the listings are my top selling listings and when were they purchased and so on. So there's a lot of ways to looking into the past and trying to make better decisions going forward. What sales channel was the most profitable one? That's a big reason why when you look into the Twice 2.0, you will see a lot of tables, because those tables are kind of an easy way of analyzing your data and aggregating data, grouping data, taking it to another system and then taking the analysis further, or even passing that data for an AI and asking AI questions about it. Like, hey, what would you see to be the most profitable product that I have based on this data available? To sum up, I would say that in order to improve your operations going forward, you'll be looking into many of the data tables that we have as the source of raw data to find the insights needed, whether it's by your own expertise or maybe utilizing an AI agent to do that.
Sounds really amazing for new and existing rental businesses. And if there are any rental businesses listening and are interested in this, there is the wait list available now at twicecommerce.com. So if you want to have early access or be among the first ones to get access, it's a good place to go and sign up.
Definitely.